Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I'm here. It's Tuesday. I started dropping frames immediately after I started talking. Ah! Ah! Why? My microphone is using up too much bandwidth. That's crazy. Well, hi, everyone. I don't know how much time we have before Draft League, so we're getting a quick session of Mario Kart in. I was gonna do Nintendo Switch Sports, but then I was like, dude, it's honestly way too hot for that. And listen, I took a walk today. I got my steps in. I'm fine not to do Nintendo Switch Sports tonight. In fact, that would bring me joy to not have to do Nintendo Switch Sports right now. Even though I want to play it, I'm like, it's too damn hot. It's hot, it's humid, I feel like I'm in hell. What am I doing? What am I doing? We're quite high. 9,222. I definitely want to get to 10,000 at some point. I think that's my goal before we get like a Switch 2 and like a Mario Kart 9. You know, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But if we get like a Mario Kart 9, I want to have 10,000 points in this game beforehand. I want to have proven myself that I can be an expert at Mario's car. I hope you're all doing well. I got a Mario hoodie at GameStop today. It was way too hot to be wearing a hoodie, but it looked nice and it was on sale, so I got it. And that's my story. That's it. That's the interesting thing I did today. Most of the day I just, like, played Shin Megami Tensei and took a walk. Alright. No news stories today. That's it. And hi, Adrian. Welcome. We are playing Super fucking Mario Kart. I love the Mario's Car video game. But now let's see if I can what's the phrase I'm looking for? Can I coexist with the big boys? That's not the right phrase. But you played the Mario Kart arcade game? Fuck yes. Those games are kind of good. I'm a little sad that those aren't on like any consoles because I think those games are fun. From the few times that I've gotten to play them at like a Dave & Buster's, they've been fun. They got Pac-Man in them too. And you know, I do think the general Mario Kart experience would be improved if you could play as Pac-Man. But I may just be saying that because I think Pac-Man World Pac-Man is like one of the cutest guys ever made. He's so adorable. I want to do everything for him. I'm losing a lot right now. It's not helping that I just pulled a fucking regular mushroom. Like, come on. Dude. No help from the items. Couldn't even get in front of that goober. What the fuck was with my item luck? Was that one of those, like, latency is bad things? Also, yeah, playing Mario Kart with, like, a steering wheel is a very different experience. I was, like, built different as a kid. Mario Kart Wii has, like, a very different system of, like, calculating your points. And it also has, like, a much easier cap to hit. Like, I think with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you would have to hit 99,000, you know, 999, etc., etc. Mario Kart Wii, it was just 9,999. So that was, like, possible to achieve, although when I was a kid, I was never getting there. And these days, I'm never getting there. I like Mario Kart Wii a lot. You guys have seen, I've gone back to that game every now and then, because I still think it's a banger. I think that game's fantastic. But, as a kid, with, like, the fucking Wii wheel in hand, using the motion controls to control the video game, miraculously, I managed to get to 7,000 points. Which, you know, for this game, not as impressive. For that game, that's a little something something. Certainly better than I could do nowadays. Although, generally, people are better at Mario Kart Wii these days. Like, anybody who's stuck with that game into 2024 is, like, way better at the video game than I am. They probably don't even play this shit, so they don't have to worry about the muscle memory fucking them over. By the way, everybody, I didn't want to spoil it, because, you know, he keeps his private life very secretive. Ever since he moved to the UK, he kept his private life very secretive. But a certain swagful individual has moved back to the United States, and is making his bid to become your next vice president. Now, I'm not gonna name any names, but let's just say it starts with swagger and ends with 2. Alright, let's see if the items, like, help me out a little bit here. Ow. Last match, all I was getting was, like, fucking single mushrooms in 11th place. Like I'm some kind of fucking doofus. Yoshi, why did you do that? Knocked me off the damn platform. I don't like how many shrooms I'm getting. Can't imagine being in that trolley and the vehicle getting hit by someone with a superstar. Domestic terrorism is just normal in the Mario universe. People don't even get hurt by it anymore. They've just, like, designed the vehicles around the fact and make them jump when, like, a star happens. Dude, look at how far ahead this Animal Crossing villager is. Holy shit. Okay, if I can just maintain this place, we're in the money. I'm really glad the blue shell doesn't go up there. Also, hi, Icarus. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I fucked up. It's okay, I still got third. I was getting a little greedy. I was like, maybe I could hit the villager with the red shell. That didn't happen. But it's okay. It's fucking okay. Yeah, let's go to Bowser Castle 3. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is, like, really hard, also. I think I've come to an understanding, which is that I'm not very good at that game. I think it's cool, and I like playing it, but every time I get to, like, a new boss, I, like, immediately get curb stomped and have to, like, grind or, like, combine, like, demons and stuff. SMT games are hard? I had no idea. Honestly, the most fucked up thing is that the game has no autosave system, so every now and then, if I forget to save for, like, a 10-minute span, I'll just get, like, bodied by a random demon, and then I'll be like, oh, shit. Wait. I forgot. I forgot to save. Fort Girl 29. Got the original SMT5 because you didn't know they'd release a new version. Don't know what to do with this now, you never played it? Well, you can always sell it and wait to get the newer version. Like, I got the newer version on sale. So I'm pretty happy with that. I got it for like 40 bucks, as opposed to getting it full price. I paid the same amount of money for Shin Megami Tensei 5 that I did Sonic Forces. It's a good deal. I think so too. And hi, Meme Mixtape. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Kind of in an RPG mood, so you want to finish Octopath and try to finish Dragon Quest III? Octopath 1 is really good. Although, I beat all the main stories, I could never do, like, the post-game... I don't know if it's technically post-game or if it's supposed to be main game, but, like, the true final boss was way too hard for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's fucked up. That shit is fucked up hard. I got up to it, rolled in with my level, like, 60 squad that I had mostly kept the same classes the whole game, and I got absolutely curb stomped. Might as well have shit on my fucking grave, dude. It was brutal. I, like, barely got through the insane boss gauntlet, and when I got to the final boss, I was, like, run ragged, and then it, like, almost immediately just killed me. Yeah, I will say, Sega games, and, like, some people might be like, wait, SMT is a Sega game? Yeah, they own Atlas. Sega games tend to go on sale faster than a lot of other companies. I feel like Sega games go on sale pretty quickly. I think I've already seen, like, Yakuza Infinite Wealth go for, like, half off at some stores. Which is, like, crazy, because that game is, like, fucking huge. And, like, I think from what I heard, at the very least on the Steam release, it's the best performing Yakuza / Like a Dragon game. So, like, that's nothing to sneeze at. And you get it for, like, 35 bucks instead of 70. Crazy good, crazy good. I'm 100% with you, Ibarus. I like the idea of a long RPG more than I actually like finishing them. Like, I finished, like, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door recently, which is a very good game, but it was also a 30-hour RPG, and I was like, fuck, that was a really long game. 30 hours for most people is, like, not that long at all. I don't know, anything that's longer than, like, the average Pokemon game is, like, really long to me. And I have to be in a certain mood for it, but I've been more in the mood of playing the longer RPGs. Like, I beat both Yakuza 7 and Infinite Wealth earlier this year, and now I'm playing through Shin Megami Tensei 5, which, again, fun game. Hard as fuck, I'm not very good at it. Sega published 3 giga-huge RPGs this year. That's true. They have Infinite Wealth, they have the Persona 3 remake, and they have SMT 5. I wanted to play Dragon Driftway. Why? Love long RPGs, sitting down and dedicating a whole week to day long play sessions is heaven. I wish I could do that. That's how I played, like, a lot of, like, RPGs when I was, like, in college. And I just, like, I have a job now, I don't have time like that. You would think, like, when I was in college, I probably did not have that much more time. But I also did college mostly during lockdowns. Or at least, like, half during lockdown. So, like, literally, with my 3-monitor setup, I would have 1 monitor with the Zoom meeting, 1 monitor with Discord, and my 3rd monitor would have, like, my capture card set up, and I would be playing, like, a video game during it. That's how I played, like, 2 routes of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. And those 2 routes took me, like, 200 hours. I don't know why. Fire Emblem games do something weird to my brain. Where, like, if a Fire Emblem game gives me the option to do grinding, I'm gonna do a lot of grinding. I think, like, fucking, like, when I played Fire Emblem 7, which is a game that doesn't really have that same kind of traditional, like, easy grind that some of the modern Fire Emblems have, I still found a fucking way. When I got the Bard character in Fire Emblem 7, the first thing I did was when I got to a new map, I just used his ability over and over again to max out his level, because I was like, well, he's gonna be really frail and low defense, so I want him to be as bulky as possible, just in case I put him in danger. I definitely did it quite a bit when I got to, like, one of the arenas as well. I definitely remember grinding out that. Like, I think I got, Eliwood to max level. If I remember correctly. I know it was one of the lords. I don't think it was Lyn. Because Lyn's a little too squishy. 3 Houses has that base management shit that made XCOM 2 so juicy for you. I'm not actually, like, the hugest on 3 Houses. I think the game is good. It's not my favorite Fire Emblem. Mainly just because, oh my god, it is really long. Even if I wasn't doing all the grinding that I was doing, the average playtime of a Fire Emblem 3 Houses route is like 60 hours. And that's like... I don't think I could ever make myself do all 4 routes of the game when they're that long. Though I did do Black Eagles, I did do Golden Deer. I got part of the way through Blue Lions. I never finished my Blue Lions playthrough, though. I'm sorry, listen, you get me with the Golden Deer, and it's like, we're all mad chill, and then you get me with the Blue Lions, and I have to deal with, like, Sylvain, Ingrid, fucking Felix, and I'm just like, I'm not feeling it as much, man. Listen, we got Mercedes here, but there's only so much she can do. The vibes aren't great for me. Another 3 years of 3 Houses discourse. Maybe the top joke of all time. It's true as fuck. I will say, I've come around as an adult. I acknowledge that the concept of Sylvain is really fucking funny. Like, whenever I think of Sylvain, I don't think of any of the, like, weird flirty shit he says in the game. I just think of the one comic that someone made where he was like, where, like, female Byleth was running a class and she was like, "Can I help you?" And then Sylvain was like, "Man, your class is tight. Low key. No, high key." I think of that all the time. As maybe one of the greatest comics of all time. His, like, big, wet eyes in that. It's so good. Also, that's understandable, Tristana. I'm really not good at any strategy RPG that isn't Fire Emblem. Something about Fire Emblem, like, clicks with my brain that, like, I can't do with any other strategy RPG. Like, it's funny, I think I'm actually better at Fire Emblem than I am, like, a baby strategy RPG like Mario Rabbids. I actually think I had more trouble on, like, my first playthrough of, like, Mario Rabbids versus my first playthrough of, like, Fire Emblem Engage. And Fire Emblem Engage is not considered one of the easier games in the series. I wouldn't say it's one of the hardest ones, but it's definitely, like, up there as one of the harder modern games. I'd maybe only give the edge to, like, Echoes. And then I tried to play Square Enix's Triangle Strategy. That was a fun game, but there was one point where I just got, like, fucking, like, not hard locked, because that would imply that the game put me in a situation I couldn't win. I put myself in a situation where I couldn't win because I was really bad at the game and I couldn't figure out how to beat a level. And I tried to beat this level, like, 10 different times, and I couldn't do it. That's interesting, because Awakening has always been, like, I feel, like, one of the easiest games to get into in the series. So if that one is, like, too much for you, like, yeah, that's probably not gonna work out. I need to play Path of Radiance. That's something I want to stream at some point. I got very far in Path of Radiance. I've told this story before. I got very far in Path of Radiance, but this was during a time where, like, my computer wasn't working with the internet for, like, a good month. So all I really had were the ROMs I already had on my computer. So I was playing through Path of Radiance, but as soon as I got my internet back, I was like, oh fuck, I really want to play The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. So I bought that, and then I played like 200 hours of that in one summer. I got Platinum God. Or whatever the equivalent was in Rebirth. It's a lot of Binding of Isaac. I have like 1,000 hours as of Repentance. Or Repentance really like refueled my love for Binding of Isaac. I mean, fuck. Binding of Isaac is still one of the most streamed games on my fucking Twitch. And like, I really only did it in like 2021 and 2022. It's just in those 2 years, it was like every other week. I had, like, a long Binding of Isaac stream. I was addicted. I was completely, hopelessly addicted. I mean, in that, like, 1,000 hours, over 100 of those hours were streamed. Which is, like, kind of crazy. I'll take 5th. That's not terrible. It'll give me points. Ike is dope in Smash, also. I'm a fan of Ike in Smash. My cousin really likes playing Ike in Smash. Or at least she used to. Ninja Hideaway, it's not even a question. Ike has always been your old faithful? Hell yeah. Dude, I just got a Wario 64 notification. You know how we were talking about, like, or how I was talking about, like, Sega sales? Dude, you can get, like, a Dragon Infinite Wealth on, like, fucking Woot.com for, like, $20. That's fucking crazy. That's an insane deal. If I, like, owned a modern system, that would be, like, good as fuck. Okay, it's 20 on PlayStation 4 and then 25 on PlayStation 5. That's crazy. Do you hear Fergus barking? What is he doing? Why is he doing that? You can hear him going, aroo. He's such a sweet boy. My parents were trying, like I said, like, Fergus is the least grumpy dog ever, and they were trying to tell me, like, oh no, he's been grumpy before, and I just don't believe them. I've never seen Fergus act grumpy towards anyone. Maybe he gets a little annoyed with his sisters trying to play with him all the time, but, like, in general, I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Doing pretty good right now. I fucked up. At least Fergus isn't barking at, like, ass hours of the night. 7:30 is a perfectly acceptable hour for him to be barking. I mean, maybe the neighbors would disagree, but, well, I live with him, so I think I'd know my opinion on him better than you would, pal. Fuck, I keep crashing into walls. Somehow I haven't, like, completely dropped in terms of my placement. That can always change. Race isn't over. You know, it's not over till it's over in baseball. I'm a little sad thinking about it. We never got a Mario baseball game for the Switch, but at the same time I'm like, but what if they made it bad? And then I become one of those people who complains about the Mario sports games on, like, Twitter. I don't know. That might be worse. I think it's good that it didn't come out, because if they fucked up Mario Baseball, then I'd be the person complaining about, like, a 7 out of 10 Nintendo game coming out. I wish, like, Mario Strikers had more sauce. Because I think that game, at its core, is fun, but it doesn't really, like, feel like there's much to keep me coming back. Like, it really was, like, the demo was so good, so I was like, oh, wow, I bet Next Level Games knocked this one out of the park, and then it was like, oh, the demo is, like, the entire game, basically. Like, that's all there is to it. No sauce, no juice. And the animations are cool. But, you know, good animations can only hide so much. Oh, dude, they're doing a whole summer sale on Woot right now. It probably is, but I just feel like, I don't know, every time we've had a party, we just, like, default to Mario Kart or Mario Party. And, like, in general, those games have been better on the Switch than those other, like, series. Like, I don't know, even if people don't like Super Mario Party that much, I feel like more people are, like, happy with Superstars, and think that's a pretty good entry in the series, which is, like, better than the divisive reception of, like, basically every Mario sports game. Philosophers will be debating for generations about whether or not Mario Tennis Aces is one of the best sports games they've ever made, or one of the worst. Played Mario Party with your nephew and he hunted you for sport? When Jen was over on the 4th of July, we played Mario Party together with my sisters, and they won. Which, I don't know if Jen had ever played Mario Party beforehand, but they got the dub. They got the victory. I gave them a kiss for it. And that's my story. Because you know what? When Jen wins, I also win. I don't know, I actually think my favorite out of the Mario sports games that they've come out with, God, I really wish I used that star, by the way. I think my favorite one out of the Mario sports games is Mario Golf. And, like, I would even say, like, the Mario Golf game is probably the most sauceless one, but it's also the one that feels like the most like it has stuff to do. It's still not as much as some of the older Mario Golf games, but I don't know, it feels like there's something to it. Definitely because of the updates also, base game is really dry. But I feel like with all the extra golf courses they added, yeah, there's a little something-something to the Mario Golf game. I don't really care about Speed Golf or any of that other crap they added, but, like, whatever. Speed Golf is fake anyways. Nobody's playing that shit. If you tell me you bought Mario Golf Super Rush because you really wanted to play Speed Golf, I don't fucking believe you. I think you're a liar, and not a very good one. I think you're like Poopy Diaper who got 10th place. I almost said 8th. Sorry, I was rooting for them a little bit. I feel like it's also one of those things where, like, for me, what I want more in, like, a Mario sports game is, like, an experience that's, like, easy enough for, like, me to play with my siblings. And out of all the Mario sports games that they've released on the Switch, I feel like Mario Golf would be the most understandable to them. Because Mario Tennis Aces has way too many mechanics going on. It's weird to say this, because, like, that's what people like about Mario Tennis Aces, is that it's very, very mechanically deep. I actually hate that about it, because it's like, I just want to play, like, a simple tennis game with, like, my family, and it's like, we'd have to sit through the tutorial, like, every, like, time we would play it, like, every 2 months, at most, if we got into it. And that's just not worth it, man. Like, I don't know. I think it's... I'm glad that it does it for some people, but it doesn't do it for me at all. I don't like Mario Tennis Aces. I think the core game is solid. Although, man, I'll tell you, the story mode really sucks. I kind of hated the story mode of that game. I tried to beat it, like, earlier this year, because I was just like, I don't know. I've been in a little bit of, like, an introspective time with the Switch as a whole, because it's like, this thing is old as fuck. They've basically stated, like, yeah, we're doing Switch 2 soon. Get hype. And, like, Mario Tennis Aces story mode is, like, nothing. And then it's like, okay, well then there's the core game that is, like, interesting, but not actually that fun for me. Like, if it was, like, the core gameplay is fun and surrounds a good story mode, hey, that would be cool. I would admit, that would get me, like, super on board with Mario Tennis. Like, yeah, maybe it wouldn't be the casual experience I could have with my siblings, but that would be something. Because I don't really care about going online to prove my mettle at Mario Tennis. So, like, give me, like, a good single-player experience, and then bada bing, bada boom, I'm satisfied. Obviously, though, that's not what happened. Yeah, Camelot's kind of stuck in the putting out rushed sports games minds, currently. I mean, out of all the games that are on the Switch, the Mario sports games definitely feel the most undercooked. Like, I don't love calling games, like, unfinished, because, like, listen, once it's done updating, that's technically the finished game. I don't think the Mario sports games were finished. I think they wanted to cook a lot more, and they just weren't able to. I've got good news, though, guys. Hello Neighbor 2 is $15 right now. So you know what to do. They have Poi Poi Molcar video game. Did everybody forgive them for the NFTs? I don't know what the situation was with Poi Poi Molcar. Because I know they did the NFTs and all the fans were like, no, they did crypto, it's over, we can never look at these hamster cars again. And then I heard nothing about it ever since. But now it has a Switch game that you could pay $40 for. Heard nothing about the Switch game. I mean, to be fair, like, I don't think you were gonna hear about the Switch game even if it was still popular, because, like, it's a licensed Switch game that's budget. It's probably straight fucking ass. Like, straight up, like, fucking smells like dookie. Like, that's just a red flag. That's probably why, yeah. Everybody kind of dropped it when they did, like, NFTs and stuff. Many such cases. Which is so weird to talk about now, because, like, man, nobody's doing that shit anymore. I don't even think we've had, like, a Square Enix, like, crypto incident in a while. And they were, like, seemingly the most dedicated to them. Why am I holding on to these? I need some momentum, man. I need some items to get me going. You and your friends have been incidentally watching a children's cartoon, but it's unironically one of the better pieces of Star Trek media in the past 10 years. The show has a shitty PS4 budget tie-in. Honestly, I think it's good for the economy that we're getting, like, bad licensed games again. I think, like, we still get good licensed games, so it's, like, fine. But I think, like, shitty licensed games are just as important. It, like, means we're in, like, a point where, like, video games are at their peak, man. So everybody wants to make a video game of fucking anything. I'm really upset with these communication errors, by the way. I don't know why the fuck this keeps happening. I mean, you hear about the game industry news? I mean, yeah, obviously. But here's the thing. I don't respect the AAA industry. I think that if you look outside the scope of AAA games, things are completely fine. Because you know what? It's not a bunch of people pissing money into the wind over bullshit. We get so... Like, I have played so many great games that have come out this year that I'm like... A lot of these big companies that are, like, at the forefront of the industry are fucking moronic. AAA gaming is absolutely dying, but indie to AA is mostly alright. Yeah. Lived during the height of GBA and DS shovelware, so you don't think you can manage licensed games anymore? You will take back your words when Ninja Breadman comes back. When he comes back, you'll regret your words. I guess it's not a licensed game, but that's what I think of when I think of shovelware. Dude, I'm literally thinking about it. They brought back, like, Bubsy and Shaq Fu. You give it, like, 10 years, they're gonna make a Ninja Breadman revival. And, like, what's the one game with, like, the Pharaoh? Like, Ankh 2, or whatever? That doesn't have a prequel? Anubis! It was Anubis. Styled as Anubis, too. I mean, I guess, to be fair, I do talk a lot about, like, the dire state of, like, AAA video games. And I think, just looking at that on that own, it's, like, not good. It's not good. A lot of these companies got way too big for their britches and decided they could spend, like, fucking $300 million on fucking Shooter Blaster 5000, the fucking 15th FPS that has come out this month. And then they get surprised when it's like, people aren't playing our live service game, they're just playing Fortnite and Minecraft and Roblox and Mario Kart and fucking Overwatch instead. What's happening? Because a lot of those companies are fucking stupid. But I think, like, I don't know. It's very weird, because I come from the perspective of someone who mostly plays Nintendo and PC. I don't really dip my toes into, like, PlayStation and Xbox these days. The newest Xbox and PlayStations I have are, like, the 360 and the PS3. Thinking about the hero shooter that is releasing soon at $40 and it'll have a negative amount of player base. Like, literally, we don't need any more. Everybody who's still, like, going after the live service train is, like, crazy. They're blowing, like, huge stacks of cash on a fucking, like... It's not that it's a dying fad, because obviously people are playing a lot of live service games, but they're playing the same ones. Like, nobody wants to play their 20th live service game. They're, like, good with, like, the fucking 19 they already have. And really, out of those 19, they play 3 of those, like, every month. And then the other 16 is, like, them remembering that those games exist, and they're like, oh yeah, that's kind of fun, let me play it for, like, an hour or 2 today. A smarter investment would be hire Roblox to make a Roblox game for them. Literally. But I guess in general, what I was trying to say, before I got a little distracted, is that because I mostly play, like, Nintendo and PC, my perspective comes from the fact that Nintendo's never been doing better, and PC gaming has never been more popular. Like, PC gaming is fucking huge right now. It's like every other day, for a while, you were just hearing about, like, you know, a new game on Steam breaking records. It was crazy. It was like, honestly, like, last year was the year that I realized PC gaming is, like, not niche at all. PC gaming is, like, definitely, like, on the level of consoles at this point. And, like, I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where PC gaming replaces consoles, but, like, if Microsoft and Sony don't get their shit together, it's gonna be close. Every currently surviving and thriving live service game is a game that found lightning in a bottle and managed to not let it die too badly. Yeah. Steam killed the physical PC game release. Yeah. Yeah. I do. That's the one thing that makes me sad about it. Is that I miss physical game. I miss when computers were expected to have disk drives. You build a PC nowadays, and you try to build a disk drive with, like, 90% of all, like, fucking cases, probably, like, way more than that. Like, the PC shells. And, like, it's not gonna have a slot for it, man. You gotta buy, like, an external one. And, like, even if you get that, it's like, who's making these physical games still? It's a sorry state. Fuck. Fuck. Consoles are really only around because they sell the consoles for a loss and games for a massive gain. Just a good deal during the start of the gen, then kind of leapfrogs between PC and console being more worth it. I mean, we're also just at a point where, like, they can only make games, like, run so much more crazy that I'm, like, my computer can run, like, the new Ratchet and Clank game, and I'm pretty confident that's gonna last me, like, a fucking long time. I don't need to make much more of a power investment. I think the lessons consoles are going to take from this gen is to just make a competitor to the Steam Deck or Switch. Well, they did make a competitor to the Switch. Didn't you see the PlayStation Portal? Yeah, don't you want the PlayStation Portal? You can play games 50 feet away from your TV. That shit is a competitor to the Wii U. Listen, it's still Sony's answer to the Switch. It's not a good one, but, like, Nintendo brought up the question of Nintendo Switch and Sony answered, we got the PlayStation Portal. So think about that next time you roll in here with your Marios and your Fire Emblems. Alright, we got the PlayStation Portal. You can play God of War on the toilet, if your toilet's really close to the TV. Think about that. I mean, the question is Sony going to make a new handheld? Because the PS Vita flopped hard. And, like, the PSP did well, but it also did much worse than the DS did. The PSP is a console that sold 75 million units, which is an impressive number, except that it had to compete with the DS, so it looked worse. Miss the Vita, it was an amazing device. Hi V. I don't even like the PS Vita. I have never once in my life been compelled to get a PS Vita. The PS Vita is the Wii U of, like, Sony consoles. It's like a console that has, like, barely anything to do with it. Oh, but it's, like, cute, though. It had an OLED screen. And I'm just like, I'm just not rolling with it, man. What am I gonna play on it? Danganronpa? Am I gonna play on it Persona? Miku is on the Vita? I have Miku on the Switch and Steam Deck. I don't need Miku on the Vita. Was its major flaws? It didn't have many good games? I mean, yeah. And that's, like, the ultimate deal breaker for me, is if a console just doesn't have games on it, I don't give a fuck if it has, like, Soul or whatever in its, like, architecture. That's, like, the disconnect I've always had with, like, the biggest Wii U fans. Like, I like my Wii U. I'm getting good time out of my Wii U. But honestly, it's mostly that it's a Wii that I can connect by HDMI. That is what I have mostly used the Wii U for. So I would not ever, like, go and say, like, you know what? Wii U, it's kind of peak. There were some games where you could use the Vita as a controller and screen for PlayStation games. Fuck, wait, never mind. This is actually good. That's a Nintendo guy who loves the Wii U. I actually think that's good. Weird failed consoles are very interesting, to be fair. And I guess it is one of those things where, I don't know, I could see myself coming around to, like, the Vita as, like, an interesting oddity, but I kind of need you guys to drop stinkers. Like, I need you guys to tell me, like, games that suck on the Vita, but are also really fascinating. Like, I don't just want, like, here's the PS Vita version of, like, God of War. I wanna see the, like, weird-ass games. Sadly, like, 40% of the Vita stinkers are porn. Fuck. Damn it. Ugh. And they're stinky because they don't wash they pussies. Fuck. Oh. Cheap viewers on pussy.com! Cheap viewers on pussy.com! Don't actually go to pussy.com. I don't know if that gives you, like, a virus or whatever. Cheap viewers at tombo.com! You know what I would have played the hell out of on Vita, unironically? I would have played a lot of PlayStation All-Stars. That's what I would have done. Honestly, you know what the biggest, like, death knell for, like, the PS Vita is? More than anything else, is that they wanted the PS Vita to essentially be, like, a companion console for the PS3. The PS Vita launched in 2012, 1 year before they released the PS4. Why the fuck did they do that? Like, the cross-platform shit is very interesting in theory, except that it's cross-platform stuff for a platform that was fucking dying. And I mean, granted, to be fair, the PS3 had, like, a second wind later in its life. Honestly, a lot of the best PS3 games are the games that released in its later years. But still, you get the idea. Like, the PS Vita, like, barely had its time as, like, the thing that does that gimmick. I'm sure there was some compatibility with PS4, but the thing is, the PS Vita is not nearly as powerful as a PS4. It was just like a portable PS3. So, like, any game that was, like, specifically, like, next generation, it was not running on the PS Vita. I mean, you maybe could if you, like, crunched the port enough. I mean, people have gotten weirder games working on the Switch, and the Switch is, like, probably not that much more powerful than a Vita, but, like, you know, the Switch also became really popular, and, like, that's not fair to the PS Vita, but, like, the PS Vita was not gonna get a lot of those weirder, like, crunched down PS4 ports, because the Vita never took off. Because, again, it was trying to be super, like, cross-platform compatible with a console that was on its way out. The Wikipedia category for Vita games, and there's only 80 games there. Is it really significantly stronger? I'm not super familiar with the power level of the Vita compared to the Switch. A Vita is only slightly better than a PS2. Really? I thought it was like PS3 level, at least. Because they were putting a lot of like PS3 games on there. That's crazy to me. So I guess they were already getting those fucked up, like, crunched ports, and then they couldn't go any higher when the PS4 came out. I think one of the things with the Vita also is that it was probably, like, a decent, like, indie port machine. I bet you got, like, a lot of, like, good indies that ran fine on the Vita because a lot of indie games weren't, like, chasing after, like, high power levels. Hold on one sec. Don't worry, gang, I made it back in time. Chronovolt, what you just put in chat, Faye, is probably a better steampunk game than Codename Steam. I might even be willing to make a gamble that it probably did better than Codename Steam. Codename Steam is, like, the funniest video game ever to me. As someone who was, like, following, like, the Fire Emblem series and, like, intelligent systems at that time. Because it's, like, there's two explanations for Codename Steam. One, Codename Steam was greenlit because Intelligent Systems, if Fire Emblem Awakening failed, they weren't gonna be able to make more Fire Emblem games. Like, management told them, like, you can't be doing that shit no more. Or two, because it would have given it, like, at least a 3-year development cycle. Like, Fire Emblem Awakening comes out, it's super successful, and Intelligent Systems is like, I bet we could do another strategy RPG and make it huge. And they were wrong. Yeah, it really was a weird era for Intelligent Systems, huh? Mistake was making it a steampunk version of the Civil War. I feel like their mistake was making it steampunk anything, honestly. I don't think, like, steampunk is an aesthetic that, like, sells. I think the only time I've ever seen steampunk in any media is, like, Tony Zarrett bits where he's making fun of it. Intelligent Systems somehow managed to perfectly convey the American style, including terrible depictions of indigenous people. I mean, honestly, those games have sold so poorly that it's, like, hard to find anything that isn't, like, snippets. So, like, I think, like, the Wikipedia page for, like, Codename Steam probably mentions some, like, early numbers, but not the full thing. Also, Sienna is setting up the stage, so we're gonna stop Mario Kart. You can always check VG charts. VG charts I wouldn't consider, like, a super reliable source, but it's about as close of an estimation as you're gonna get. Just don't take it as fact. Take it with a grain of salt. Like, I mean, on their website for console hardware sales, they have the Nintendo Switch as less than Nintendo has them at. Which is, like, that's just baffling. That just doesn't make any sense. According to VG charts, though, it's, like, barely over 200,000. Which is, like, those are the kind of numbers you just don't want to see. But yeah, let me hop on the stage. Let me change the category. Let me hop on the stage. We're switching to Draft League, baby. Here we go. MFL Week 2, baby. Let's go.